But there's an evolution or not, you think?
Yes, I think gradually I became more and more aware that this is a question of urgency, and every day we have a new step. And we realize that the carbon footprint, even though we signed the Paris Agreement, my governments, Denmark, Germany, signed the Paris Agreement 2015, but still last year the carbon emissions went up. And it turns out that maybe we are in a situation where waiting around for the governments to challenge this might not be the right way, and maybe we ourselves have to address it. So every day there's something new. Maybe I need to find out how I can take this, as the heads of states are clearly not prioritizing it to the extent, because we know for a fact now this year again the carbon footprint will go up. So I don't think it was one moment. It was not. It was a gradual evolution, and I was actually interestingly just having a short interview with National Geographic on hiking, and I was reminded that I actually used to hike a lot, and this is how I came across to look at the waterfalls, because looking at a waterfall back then when I was hiking was a way to see the distance in the landscape, because you look at the waterfall, and if the water falls slow, it's a big waterfall far away. I mean, if it falls fast, it's a small waterfall close by. So the relationship with nature and time was also about understanding space and understanding your body in space, which I've used so much in my art. And so in a way, the waterfall here being constructed is offering you a scaling, or a sort of this, offering you the opportunity to see yourself in the context of this space, or of the urban space in this case. And see, now this is very abstract and so on, but it's just to say that there are information from having an intimate relationship with nature back in the 80s, in the 90s, and throughout, where I documented various, I documented my first series, I believe, was a waterfall series. Then I did bridges, then I did rivers from the air, sailing in the rivers, which is up here as well, moss plants, extinct plants, erosion, earthquakes. So the photo documentations now, interestingly, retroactively, have fertilized a lot of the things that I'm interested in today when talking about the environment. But I think it's also important, as you say, Mark, foremost, these are works of art, and my interest is, as an artist, to make the best possible artwork. A work of art travels through time with a certain slowness. As the world changes, the perception of the artwork changes again. The weather project, as you just said, was not about the climate. It was about the constructed natural environment, but it wasn't really, addressing the climate. We had in the early 90s the Kyoto Protocol. I actually remember I knew about it because it was a Finnish guy. I knew somebody who knew him, who ran this climate summit, or the sort of beginning of the climate. And this is what we now also call the beginning of the Anthropocene period, right? Turns out now there's skepticism around this whole idea of the Anthropocene, because Anthropocenes that all humankind have created the climate crisis. We know that's not the way. It's the Western world. It's capitalism, it's consumerism. Same people who created slavery and colonialism and so on. So the Anthropocene is maybe not quite the right word, because it's not everyone who's created the climate challenge. Different road.